drop behind the 3. He's got to find it off the 5. He can't take a risk trying to break that cluster any sooner. So this is the important shot. And he's got a bit of an angle. He would have liked maybe a bit more. Oh, I'm forgetting about the 6. What am I talking about? I'm getting so excited. Well, that isn't bad. He's going to have to probably dig into this 6. No, that's not as good as I thought it was. He's well behind the 6. And he's got the 9 ball full in the face. Where's the cue ball going? Where's the cue ball going? Oh. Well, it's going to be no option but the thin edge. Now that is very adjacent to the point of the knuckle there. This has got to be done carefully. And he's played it well. That is a good shot. Yeah, I remember Semi-Pro's mid-match crisis against Franco. He had a senior moment during the match, and then, and in fact, if I remember rightly, he started PMing me, and I told him to shut up and get on with it. Started PMing me while I was streaming the damn thing. And I says, listen, get your act together, get your head together and get on with the match. Well, this is now, how many crucial acts are we going to see now to the end of the match? My goodness me. And Stubb, again, the golden rule in my book in safeties is getting distance if you can. If you can't get the cover, get the next best thing and get distance, because believe me, it makes it tough. And this here that Vinces has got is a tough shot. He can obviously hit the 7. Well, there, Vinces has answered that one with a cracking safety. That is a... Well, he's going to have to obviously call the kick on the 7. And if it goes in... Well, he hasn't. Now, was that a foul? Yes, it was. What a bonus now for Vinces, but what a safety. The safety is going to get him the reward. Because now he's going to be plumb on the 10 in a minute or two, unless something disastrous happens, to get back to within 1. Need a drink here. And Stubb breaks off and gets a ball in the break. And he has a shot on the 1 which looks pretty tight, but there is room to get past that 3. And the problem ball is that one. The problem is the 5. Let's have a closer look at this, because if you're going to pot that 5, I think it's difficult to even get, even if you get down here, it's difficult to get to that 5 where you can actually make the potting angle and not foul the 8. Yeah, there's a big problem ahead here. this will be a... Oh, dear. Well, that was really unlucky. Well, he has got it. I thought he'd locked himself out there in the 4. I wish I'd been up the table. Well, Stubb has broke off with a ball in the break, and he's got the breakout, and he's now on the 8, and he's looking to maintain the lead that he's got from mid-match onwards, and it's going to take him to within 2 of victory, provided he gets this 9 and 10. And the break will go back to Vinces, I think, in the next rack. And of course, there's absolutely nothing you can do with alternate break. Your opponent gets the break and gets a ball and gets a shot. There's just nothing you can do. And this is why it's now the odds are against Vinces. Mathematically, they're against him because of the alternate break. But he's got a ball. He's got a very difficult 1. And he should have a shot in the 2, but he's going to have to pull off a good shot to get him started here. Pressure really on. And he's looking for cover. Well, I don't know whether that's good enough. Is Stubb going to go for the jump? Well, he's not interested. He's looking at a kick option here. Well, he's just looking to get lucky, but this time he hasn't. And so Vinces, with the opportunity to respond. And is he going to hold his nerve? Well, he's proved it when it was asked of him in his last match. And, well, he's now in a situation where he has no other option. It is the point now where he cannot make mistakes. He doesn't have the room to manoeuvre. He has to get the job done in this rack. And that was now in a position with this 6 ball where he's got to try and find a path to the 7. And it's down here. And that pace looks pretty damn perfect to me. That is an absolutely perfect positional shot. He can stun in and drop behind the 8. And now what's he going to do to get on the 9? Squirt out behind the 10. He needs to avoid the 10. If he hits the 10, he's knackered. But that is perfect. So the response from Vinces, he hasn't blinked. He is still in with a chance. And he's back to within 1. And it's a rack that he was so desperate to win. But the break goes back to Stubb. And the 3 ball thought about going in. The 10 ball is hanging over the pocket. This could be a quick rack if Vinces can somehow pull off a shot to get started. Oh, this is a pressure shot because the 10 ball is hanging and he simply must stay at the table here. He must stay in control because we know that any ball knocked towards that 10 is going to be a quick rack for anybody. That there is just waiting to be pushed in. And this shot here, well, he's banked to 1. He's got a thin cut in the 2 for the combo onto the 3. But now, of course, he has to keep his head clear about what he's doing, because the 2 might be locked behind that 6. And that's where it can go wrong here. He's got to be careful. And that is the problem. And now he's going to have to spin in behind the 6 to chip the 2. He needs to be, again, this is, let's have a look at that. Well, there is not much room to get that spin to work to chip that 2. This is difficult. Had that 6 ball been a bit further away, it'd have been fine. I think that's a foul. Is it? Oh dear. And that is another disaster. It's ball in hand, 4-10 combo. And that was the danger with playing the cut from the 2 to the 3, that if you play it pocket weight, the 6 ball was going to be the blocker. And is that the fatal error from Vince? Says he had, if anything, he should have hit it with pace. He was trying to keep the 2 near the pocket, but the danger was always a 6 ball. And the 2 ball was left blocked behind it, and he had to try and kick it and didn't have enough room to get there. And Vince says now having a blast to try and pot the 1 and disturb the 2. And Stubb now within 1 of victory. Well, he can pot the 1. He can stun to avoid the 10. But I don't think he can avoid hitting something. He'd be really fortunate if he doesn't hit something up at that end of the table. But really all he's wanting is a sight on the 2, because he's got an easy safety off the 2. You can use the 5 as a stopper and just get that distance again. And well, this is going as tough as you want to make it. He's now Chinese snookered over the 10 ball. He may well still be trying to use the 5 as a stopper. Well, he's trying to just bank the 4, the 2. Well, this position here has got Vinces in trouble. Although he can see the 2, he's going to have to call the 2-6 combo. There's plenty of room to get past that 9. But has he called the 6? Well, he has now. And the same problem with this shot, he has to hit this. He needs to get the cue ball out of there. Well, he's tried to hold it. I don't know whether he's done enough. He's going to have to spin around this 9 slightly to get the kick. Is that another foul? No, it's not. Ah, that was close. But that clip in the 9 has scuppered his chances here for a shot in the 4. Now, what does he do to get it safe? Well, this has got to find a distance, and that is almost there. He hasn't got the cover. Now, is Stubb going to have a blast? I think he is. I think he's going for it. He's got the thin cut in the 4, and he took the risk. And how's his luck? Well, he's going to scratch, is it? It's ball in hand to Vinces. Stubb going all out for the win. And Vinces has his first lifeline that he needs to get back within one. Well, it's not all over yet, apart from the fact that Vinces has just got himself a wee bit straight. But it is all about nerve and bottle and not choking now. This is a wee bit nervy, this one. It's a wee bit awkward. We know what he has to do. Just pot the 8 and run off the rail and out. But it is going to be, barring something miraculously silly, Vinces getting back to within one. And Stubb could not resist the cut on that 4 ball. It was extremely difficult, but he was having a blast at it and going for the win. And that's handed Vinces one of his lifelines. The break goes back to Stubb. And the break is dry. And Vinces, well, with no shot, there is a possible combo, but who is going to take that risk at this stage? And look at this 7 and 9, it isn't a combo. Well, the worst thing he has to do here is at least find a safety. There is a safety. He can find the gap there. Well, I think he'll be put back in here in a second. Because if he had pushed that one into there, he could have come off the edge of the one, down there and down here. I don't think that was the shot I would have played. But Stubb didn't put him back in. And he might regret it, because Vinces now has the angle to push the one to the side rail, bank it along that short rail at the top, or at least thin off it and try and get the cue ball behind the 6 and 9, the 7 and 9. And I don't think he's got there either. Well, Stubb can feather the one and just try and come across. And that now has got Vinces in trouble. And I think Vinces has left himself open to this, because to me he's played the wrong safety. It's all very well in hindsight, but I think he should have went for distance. And now he's got himself right in the mire. He's going to have to call the one into that corner on the top end of the table. What a shot. What a kick bank at this stage in the match. And the 2 will go past the 3. But what a way to dig yourself out of a hole. And the 2 surely must have went past the 3. He's went for the lock-up behind the 3. And he hasn't got there. Oh dear. Well, I don't know what's going through his head now, but I'll tell you something. It is amazing what goes through your head when you get to this stage in a big match. I don't think he was thinking clear there. I was convinced the 2 went past the 3 down the rail. And he hasn't got it safe. And he's left Stubb in. And the only lifeline that Vinces has now is that 7 and 9. I need another drink, the voice is breaking. Is the 7 and 9 going to come to Vinces' rescue here? Because that's all that stands between him and Stubb running this rack and winning the tournament. or it goes all the way. He went for the break and he didn't get it because the 5's adjacent to the middle pocket. He took the risk, but he didn't get it first time, and he has a chance again, but it's riding the luck to get on the 6. And he's gone for it this time, and this time he's landed on the 6. And this match, well, I'm going to say it, this match is over if he can get down onto the 7. Oh, that's going too straight. Well, what a shot here from Stubb. He's totally lost the plot there. And now he's going to have to run for cover. Well, that was his chance to win the match. And he's not got the cover. Oh, now is this off the rail? It is. Is Vince says going to play the bank again to save his neck and to keep him in the match. It looks a good bank, and he's going to be on the 8, but it's this shot to stay in the match. It's not there. It is not there. Oh, and Stubb has left with this tough 7, and he must fancy it. He's going to be on the 8. Doesn't need to worry about the cue ball. All out for the pot. And in it goes. And anywhere in this bottom half of the table here for Stubb. Plenty of room. It looks as if he's going to come over behind it for the right middle. That's what it looks like he's playing. No, he's playing the draw. Plenty of draw. Well, this is awkward. It is not easy. He might chip into the 10 here. And knowing that, he might have a bit of a dig into the cue ball to avoid it. Well, Stubb already had the match won if he had got on that 7 ball. If that was the one he was playing. Well, he's went for the cut in the 9. He's missed it. And this is going to be awkward for Vince's. This is Vince's last chance to dig out a pot on this 9 to take us all the way. Well, what an end to the match. Oh, this is really, really ugly. And Vince says he can't believe he missed it. It wasn't bloody easy. I don't know where he's coming from. Oh, God. Well, look at it from Vince's point of view. Well, in it goes. Well, we are going all the way, folks. What a finish to the tournament. What a finish to this tournament. We're into a final rack decider. We've been 2 hours and 5 minutes in this final. And Vince has broken off. He's got a couple of balls in the break. He's got a shot in the 1, and the 2's hanging over the left middle pocket. And as far as I'm concerned, it all hinges on this 1 ball. The 8 ball is fairly tight in that rail. And, well, it doesn't matter. There is still an awful lot of pressure on this 1 ball just to keep your nerve and not twitch. And in it goes. And again, well, no heroics here. Just drop the 2 in and you're on the 4 and get the cue ball off the rail. That's the order of the day here. Well, I'm going to have to watch this match replayed. I mean, although I'm watching it, there's lots of things have happened, particularly late on, with Stubb having the chance to have won it and not getting that position between the 2 balls and ending up going straight onto the shot, or was it the 6 ball? And Vince says now, provided he can go forward and off the rail, and get as straight as he can on this 8-ball. Well, it's just a stopper. He needs to come back an inch or two for comfort. Oh dear, he's missed the 8. Well, oh, I cannot believe this. I mean, Stubb has got to reverse bank this, or does he play it thin from the right side and get distance? And he had to draw back just to get comfortable in that 10. And we see it time and time again. These pockets, if you send them offline, are going to rattle and it's going to hang up. And Vince says, with a match at his mercy, has rattled the 8 and got it safe. And Vince says now has the reverse bank. He's going to go for it. He's not going to mess about. It's off the rail. It is a good reverse bank. But is he going to have a shot in the 10? It is all out, all or nothing. You get a shot at it, you have to go for it. Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. But what about the 10? What about the 10? Oh, look at this. Look at this for a pot to win the tournament. What a finish. Oh, and it goes. And that was an amazing finish to this match. I am going to have to watch the full replay, because how the hell Vince says has managed to somehow hang himself in this, well, hang in this match is unbelievable. Stubb had the chance to have it won and he blew the positional shot. And somehow Vince says stayed in it and stayed in it. And he had the reverse bank. He could not refuse it. He had to get it. And then it went and he got a shot on the 10, which is all you ask for. And somehow or other, Vince says has won the match by 17 racks to 16. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, there is going to be some people watching the replay for this, because this has been amazing, the finish to this tournament. Stubb, well, you cannot discount Stubb's fighting qualities. He's loose with his positional play, but he battled to get himself into the lead. He had a 3-rack lead and he had the chance in his hands to win the match, and it got away from him. And you cannot come any closer to winning a tournament than what just happened there. Unbelievable finish. Well, guys, well, what do you say with that? What do you say? Let's look at the bracket. Not that it matters, but let's look at it anyway. And we will see that the VP4 10-ball world champion, if I can get this damn thing to work, 2019, is Vince says from Taiwan, who beat Stubb from the USA in a final rack decider by 17 racks to 16. And, well, he wins some V dollars, because apart from that, he wins nothing else. But Vince says has been the favourite, the strong favourite all the way through the tournament. Stubb has been saying all the way through the tournament he was going to win it. Well, he generally does back himself most of the time, and he got there right on the line and he got tripped up on the line and just fell short. It's been a great finish to the tournament and the two guys, I'll give a round of applause to them, because it takes two to make a match. It's not all about one person. Vince says the hot favourite from like the third round of this tournament, having seen his results. Stubb, we know what he's like. He's blasting hot and cold, but he's fought all his way through the one-loss side to get there. So take your hat off to the two guys for putting up a great final. And with that, folks, thanks to everybody that took part. Thanks to all the people that joined in the streams. Thanks for your company. It's been a fantastic final. Well worth getting out of my bed for. Well worth streaming it and getting it archived. So make sure you tell everybody you see to go to YouTube, go to nineball.com and get this match watched and watch it from the start, because they have got to see how this panned out. You can't just tell them it was a 17-16 win. You have to see the last 8 or 9 racks in this match to see how it finished. So I'm going to have a lie down in a darkened room because I am ill.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Well, good afternoon, people. Welcome back to VP4 TV. And we're back in Virtual Pool 4 online. And we've got another match in the VP4 2022 World Black Ball Championships. The answer to your question, Brain Fill Out, is no. Nobody is coming in today because Steve has a pool tournament or a pool match that he's heading off for, so he won't make it. Again, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, which is 10 a.m. East Coast time, so he's probably going to be out the house all day anyway. I was just thinking that if he's actually, I think I said it in the chat earlier on, that I think I was in the room when Cobra and a couple of guys were having a challenge room with Black Ball. I was wondering whether Steve would obviously have his phone with him. And while he's sitting in his chair watching his opponent running the table, he could watch the stream on his phone if they've got free Wi-Fi in the building. He doesn't need to miss the match. He could still watch bits of it. Well, thanks for that, Brain Fill Out. Yeah, you get the matches archived. You've always got something to watch. That's my my theory. Somebody at some point will want to have a look back at some of these matches. Well, I'll say hello to Cobra. He's probably gone. Good luck to Cobra and Semipro, because they are the two players that are up for battle this afternoon in this race to 13. It's a round 3 match, and something's got to give. Two players from the United Kingdom, brackets England, are going to go head to head at the top of the hour. Now, how do you assess who's going to win this? Well, if you look at it from one point of view, both players can pot a ball, both players can move the cue ball, so they can get reasonably good position on a regular basis compared to most players. The one thing that favours Semi-Pro is he's a lot more familiar with this table than Cobra is, which is why I would edge Semi-Pro as the favourite for that reason, but no other reason. If Cobra gets enough opportunities, he's more than good enough that he's going to be taking them, and that is basically it. It could go down to I'm going to sit in the fence a bit. I'm going to say 13-11 either way. Other than that, I'm not prepared to say anything else. But it could be that close. Now, there is a couple of things just to clarify. Well, first of all, once we get into this match, hopefully my issues with the quality of the stream have been resolved. I had a look at that this morning, and well, to cut a long story short, XSplit Broadcaster will automatically set up my connection, which is why I thought, well, I won't bother doing anything. It set it all up. And when I went in and looked this morning, I looked at the bandwidth that had been set, and the bandwidth had been set by default to something like 1,000 kilobytes or something. I can't remember. So I did a bandwidth test, and I kept switching it up, and I'm looking at the top of my screen at the moment, and I've got no drop frames. I never have got any drop frames, but I'm looking at the stats, and it shows the bit rate is at 4,600. I think I set it to like 4,700 kilobytes a second, so I'm streaming out a lot of data, and that should give you the best quality picture on 1080p settings. So always make sure that when you're watching the stream, whether it be YouTube or Twitch, make sure that you have the little cog at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Make sure you hit it, because Again, it could also be that can cause a problem, because sometimes if you're watching YouTube or Twitch, it will default to a lower setting. But you can adjust that. But it should all be good from my end, hopefully. I'm pretty certain it should be. It should be resolved. So, what time is it? Plenty of time yet, about 10 minutes yet, into the bracket. Now, anybody who wasn't around last night, we had a long session last night. We had Friday Night 9-Ball. It was one of the fastest Friday Night 9-Ball tourneys for a long while, with a full house as well. But after that last night, we had a match scheduled at 11 p.m. my time last night. It was midnight for Albinario, and as predicted, Albinario has sailed through that match by 13 racks to 3. One thing I want to do, and I'll just be back in 2 seconds. Hold on. Now I want you to remember that the commentator's eye is always right at the end of the day. And if you haven't had a chance to see that match last night, there was one shot by Albinario that opened up the whole rack for him. It was after Spud Boy's break. The table was really messy, and so Albinario's in a situation where he just needs to pot a ball, so he's got a choice of colours, but at the same time he's looking for a way to improve the table. And you didn't get a chance to see it, you're about to see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this into the lobby and we'll have a look at it. And this is Albinario's 5-ball combo, which, as I said at the time, I've never seen a proper 5-ball combo in VP3 or VP4. You can get larger combos, particularly when the pack are all stuck together, maybe in straight pool and stuff like that, and in snooker. But this is not a combo in that sense of the word. This is a proper 5-ball combo. So I'm going to paste it, and let's have a look at it. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's have a quick look at it. So into rack number 11, Spud Boy's break is another dry one. Albinario looking at his options. And I also see the pixelation on this up the top left hand side of the table from last night. Of course, I didn't get to see that until I saw the playback, but this is a shot. Listen to the commentator. Now is he looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ball combo here? I think he is. I think he's looking at a 5-ball combo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it goes. Well, you don't see many. Well, there you are. So that was the shot of the night last night from Albinario. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Mark. I think you're the only ones that are still there. Bedhead has arrived. I'm surprised you could count to 5. Thank you very much. No, I don't. I mean, again, this is the problem. A lot of players haven't been near black ball, so they're not familiarised enough with the rules and how to use them. But I mean, the match was dead and gone anyway. There was no doubt about that. It was a lost cause at that stage. So we're 5 minutes away, and as I said, if you were late in arriving, and I'll just go over it again in terms of who I think should win this. Who should win it in paper? It should be Semipro from the simple point that he's a lot more familiar with this table. The pot and ball side of things, the moving the cue ball side of things are pretty evenly matched. And it's down to that. And then, of course, you add the other factors with a bad roll of the ball, all of the other usual stuff that affects the game and affects the outcome. You mix that in. So I'm going to sit in the fence and say 13-11 to one of them. At the end of it, it's also maybe down to whether Semipro starts beating himself up if things aren't quite going as well as planned. We'll see whether that comes into the fray. But in terms of both players, they're very evenly matched. But the slight favourite, would be Semipro from the familiarity point of view with the table. That's how I see it. Good afternoon to LS3. Cobra 1310 says Semipro. What are you doing in the chat? You should be fully focused. You shouldn't even be paying any attention to the stream. Your mind has to be on the job at hand. Right, so I changed all the chat last night, or this morning. You think the two of them will walk away? So Steve, for anybody who's late, Steve was not going to make this match. He's away playing pool today. So you're just going to have to suffer me. And I've got Discord off, so I'm not switching Discord on now, so that's done. I'm fully focused now. Right, so we are about 2 minutes away from the room going up. We'll have the lag for the break. Race to 13. Again, quick check of the bracket. Because this match between Cobra and Semipro is going to decide who's going to play Zangetsu in round 4. At the top of the bracket, from the result last night, we pretty much always knew it was going to be Albinario and Larry. So there's some great matches to come. Big step up for Zangetsu in his first big tournament since he came to VP4, and he's had a good run, and he's had to scalp a Stub and sent him to the one-loss side. Now, quick update on Stub. You guys that were here last night, if you remember, I mentioned I had a message in my inbox and I never opened it. I wasn't going to open it while I was streaming, but I read it this morning, and it was a message from Matt from MC Clarkey. He's getting messed about by Stub in terms of setting the match. Stub wants to play it Monday. Matt's already told him he's got a business meeting or something on Monday, and Stubbs just come out with the usual crap. So anyway, that has to be resolved. I don't know when the deadline is for the match. Quick look at that before. Where the hell is it in the bracket? I've probably flown past it already. Where are we? Right, there it is there. So the deadline is April the 25th. What day is that? This is the 20... The deadline is Monday. But what time is the deadline? Let's go back to the event. The deadline is Monday at 5 PM in the afternoon, my time, British summer time. And I think Matt wanted to get it obviously played at the weekend. So that's a messing about situation again. He forwarded that message to Steve, so Steve should already have read it and be aware of it. But that's just to keep you guys in touch, to let you know what's happening. Yes, I did see it, Mark. I saw it on that 5-ball combo, and I seen how bad it was. But as I say, that should be fixed. I would hope that the first, as soon as we go into the match, you can let us know. Right, the room is about to go up. Both players have been in. Cobra's been in all day pretty much. So he's been putting in the time. Semipro has been in the last hour or so. The room goes up. In we go. Cloth colours at the right colour. So we just wait on Semipro arriving. Now I'm going to rotate the table and you can let us know what it looks like. Everybody happy with that now? Excellent. Good afternoon to Chico. Yeah, my bandwidth was set automatically, but it was set far too low, so that was easily resolved this morning. Because it's got a bandwidth test thing built into this as well, so every time I bumped the bandwidth up past it, whatever the 1,000 was it had set at, I moved it way up to 4,500. And the bandwidth's running fine. I can handle that with what I've got. So here we go. We've got Cobra at the bottom of the screen, or nearest me, and Semipro on the far side. Just read the chat. Semipro says, "Hey, sorry I had the shits." So Cobra at the bottom of the screen. Semipro looks as if he's too heavy, and Cobra wins the lag. So good luck to both of them. Everything's looking good. All we need now is my broadband to go down, and that will really make the day. And the 8-ball goes in, so straight away we've got a re-rack. Good afternoon to Zangetsu. Zangetsu's in on a spying mission here. He's in sizing these two players up to see how he can take them down. That's exactly what he's doing. And that's not a bad thing. See where you can hit them when you face whoever you're going to face in the next room, round. But anyway, the break this time is dry, and Semipro immediately pots the red and tries to improve the situation, which he has done straight away, and every red is there except the last ball, which is the 8-ball, and he's got adjacent balls to deal with that. So it's all about getting that vital position on whatever red he chooses up table to nudge that 8-ball. I don't think he can squeeze the 8-ball into the side. No, it's not going into the side. It's too tight. Now, does he want to come back or does he want to go forward? He looks as if he's going forward. I mean, he could come back and leave a slight... If he doesn't get the angle right, though, he'd just be going straight through in the red. So he's got to be careful. Well, now he's going to maybe try and nudge into this 8 in the yellow from this shot, or is he going to come back? Because he can still come back for this red and still get the breakout, and the other red goes no problem. So this is vital. And suddenly it's gone a bit pear-shaped. Now he could play the billiard off the red. He's maybe looking at that. I thought he was trying to play it in off the red, like the Russian snooker player. Well, it isn't a bad safety because Cobra can't see anything to pot bar this yellow, which is a bit fiddly, into the side, and there's a yellow tied up on the rail, so Cobra's got some ducking and diving to do. Good afternoon to Albie. I've showed everybody your 5-ball combo. None of them were impressed, I have to say. No reaction from anybody, Albinario. Not one. Zangetsu said he's scared. Well, you've absolutely nothing to be scared. Believe me, they're a lot more scared of you than you are of them. I can tell you that. Because it's at that point in the tournament where anything can happen. Good morning to Spud Boy. Have you recovered after your battering last night? I hope you didn't watch the replay. I didn't say a lot of nice things. So now we've got a proper lock-up job here. Semipro, if he can get a sniff of that red that's nearest us, he's going to be obviously playing a combo. And Cobra's wise to that situation. And what's more, Semipro has got no line to get to that red other than 2 rails. And Cobra has got his prize. He has the free shot and the first big chance now to get himself off the mark in this match. Now this, you know how Steve goes on about players not using their free shot properly. Let's see if this will pan out. Because Cobra's left that red ball sitting there, and I don't know whether that was the wisest move he's ever going to make with a free shot. Because I would have been getting that red ball well out of there. And Cobra's still, in leaving that other red ball there, he's still backing himself to have a safety. A sort of escape route if things don't go quite right. So he's backing off. Well, all he's ended up doing there is opening the pocket. He's backing on getting another free shot here. Now, where's the 8 ball going? Well, I think that would have been the attacking shot. You know, but he's got that many balls on the table that you know, he's still got options, and the option now is to get the red out of the way. And now he's left it. He can play the little draw off this yellow, and if he runs into the other one, he should be fine because he'll be okay for yellows into the side. But now it's going for the kill and been able to deliver. And also, that red ball doesn't go past the 8, so Semi-Pro's locked up here for this first rack. I don't think he's wanting to run into this yellow that's in the rail. I don't think the angle will... Well, he's played it soft enough. He's just going to probably end up getting rid of these 2 balls up and down the rail, I would think. Everybody still happy with the stream? I want to keep my customers happy. Well, Cobra was confident with the lay of these yellow balls that he could bide his time to make the move. Took him 2 goes. He got the 2 free shots. And it's first blood to Cobra on his break. Excellent. Now Semi-Pro breaks off. A handful of balls have gone. And the immediate job for Semi-Pro here is to make his choice and run the table, which, let's be honest, this is in the bag. Regardless of what he takes here. He's got the 8 ball well in play. Access to the yellow up the table is off this one in the side. The only thing he's got to be careful now is the business down here. This is where it could end up going a bit funny. Now, that yellow there is the one that passes this one into this pocket. The other one is the one that's the problem. That one. And that one he's going to have to get on it. And he can do that by potting that one and coming out the other side. Now it's funny. But the draw to the rail, the control, and again, the 8 ball has gone to the side rail. He's just got to get the touch that he doesn't run below that red, which he hasn't. He could have ended up hooking himself. But this, I'm pretty confident, will be a quick response from Semi-Pro. But he's hung the 8, hampered over the red, and the commentator's curse strikes again. Well, this is going to break the first break of the match, really, on Semi-Pro's break. But that was one of them. Table at his mercy, did all the hard work, but then got awkward. Chinese snookered over the red. But that still goes down as an unforced error. All done off your own back. Now Cobra needs to get down and look at this 8 ball in the pocket before he does anything else, because you don't want to try and use the rail just to keep the cue ball out or something like that, because things can end up going funny. But he's fine, and it's 2-0. Well, I agree with you, Albie. I keep telling people, I mean, the way I use it is exactly, and you know, you use the W key not just to step back. What you should do is jack the cue up a bit more, and then I use the shaft of the cue to line up the cue ball to the object ball, and it's usually pretty good. And it's an easy out in terms of how you deal with that situation where you are Chinese snooker. Just jack it up a wee bit and look at the line of the shaft from the cue ball to the object ball, and then you make your little adjustment, and then you can fire away. Obviously, what you can't do is start putting English in the cue ball. You're just trying to pot the ball to get yourself out of trouble. And I don't know whether Semipro tries that method at all. But had he done it in that situation, he would have got that every day of the week. He wouldn't have missed it. So now, Cobra at the table. Now it's his break. What did I miss there looking at the chat? Because according to the HUD, he hasn't potted a ball. Oh, he has. The yellow's gone. Right, I just realised the yellow had gone. Well, he's going to have to play that cut on the left-hand side. On that yellow there, down onto the red and then onto the yellow. But he'll have to play that a bit firm. I'll tell you where this will go wrong. If he ends up playing this cut in the yellow onto that red, then that yellow has to go that way to make the potting angle. And the problem with that yellow going that way is it could end up nowhere. This is just something to bear in mind as this rack goes on. This is where this could end up being a funny shape behind the red or next to the 8 ball or something like that. So it all depends on the power that he hits this shot at when he comes to play it. And he's stuck to the rail. Well, that's clever. So now it's a deft little touch. And watch how this cue ball will run away if he doesn't get that touch. Because he's having to cut this at a high angle. The cue ball's got to leak away if he went that way, so he's taking the other one first. And the safest place to be is just out here. I don't think he's ever going to try and drop to the rail. I think just get himself up the table by about a foot. And he's just got there. I think he's just... Oh, he's going to have to bend this. He's going to have to bend it. And this is the thing where players struggle with how this cue ball reacts, because they're so used to playing little shots like this in 9 ball on the normal table, but on this table you just don't know how this is going to work. And he doesn't fancy it. Well, he underhit it anywhere up here. I mean, look at the margin of error he had. If that cue ball had held that line and landed up here, he's still laughing. He still had the cut in the 8, no problem. And the worst thing he could do is underhit it. So he's now given Semipro a gift of an opportunity to get off the mark. So that's the first real mistake by Cobra. But again, it's finding the touch. But those little masse shots are very delicate. But you have to practice 2 or 3 of them to get the feel of how this cue ball's going to spin. Well, Semipro has Steve's favourite, the ball extended from the side pocket, to deal with. He's got the nice angle to come up the table, and he should really be fine. He's just going to play it straight. So against Cobra's break this time, Semi-Pro's pinched it from Cobra's positional error. And he's got it back to 1. Yellow goes in. And look at these yellows. Well, there's one issue. I mean, the reds are pretty much okay as well. The problem's just down at this bottom end of the table. So Semi-Pro's making his decision on how he's going to go about this. Now, he could play a shot on the yellow onto the yellow with the pocket. Depends on the pace he wants to play. He might want to try and run into this yellow and red over the corner, and he has done. Now, has he created another problem? No, he's okay. So, committed to the yellows. But once again, looking ahead, where's his last ball to get on this 8 ball? It's not going to be this one. I don't think. I think he's trying to get on this and he's overhit it, if that's the case. Let's have a look. Is he trying to chip it in off the red? I don't think he can get it. He's going to try and chip it off the rail. And then he doesn't like it, I don't think. So that was one shot that's gone wrong, because he doesn't want to leave this yellow ball as the last ball to get onto the 8. Are you talking about that shot that Cobra had to get to the 8 ball? See, that's a delicate little shot. You know, if you play this game regular enough and often enough, you're a lot more comfortable trying to play one of them. But then again, he should never have been there in the first place. He had another foot of table that he could have rolled that cue ball up to play the 8 ball. Well, Semi's committed the cardinal sin there. He's potted the awkward ball, and now he's left himself really awkward on this yellow. He's avoided the scratch, so he's got out of jail in that one, and he's going to be all square. Well, that's Semi in the match now. Back to Cobra for rack number 5. And the break is dry. And this situation is where either player has to capitalise. They have to use all their skills to pick their way through these balls and get out, because they'll look at this as a big fail with this table. And, I mean, I think it's a toss of a coin as to what you choose here, because I think they're all pretty good. Yellows would be good in terms of coming down for the 8 ball. Semi-Pro's decided the reds are what he wants, but you've got 2 yellows down this bottom of the table. Well, 3 if you include the one in the right rail. And they're all handy for getting onto the 8. And he's left himself this issue here. That's the big problem. How does he find his way to that one where he's got a shot? Well, that's what we're waiting to see. Well, he can cut it in now. He'd be unlucky still not to have another shot after this, but this is the one he has to get rid of. And now, of course, he has to be on one side of this 8 ball to pot it. He's got to get himself here, in this area to pot this 8 ball, it obviously doesn't go past the yellow, so he's limited in the area he can get to, and he's got a perfect angle, and it's no problem. So it's 3 in a row for Semipro. And his own break for rack number 6. Gets the ball. Now, are these going to stay nice and clean? Well, again, the table has broke pretty good. Could play the combo onto the yellow, and then he's on the yellows. How's this yellow over the pocket, though? He could play that combo to get rid of the yellow, because that might be difficult to get to, this yellow. Yep. I agree with that shot. I don't agree with hitting the red and ending up putting it there. So, Semipro on the yellows. And he's looking at the angle that this yellow's coming off the rail. It might just come off the rail and hit the red, but if he hits it hard enough, it'll hit the red and then hit the yellow. Oh, well, it's done everything but go in. But nevertheless, he's in good shape in this bottom right-hand corner. And Cobra's going to have to get a bit wily here. So the red into the side pocket isn't a problem. But is he going to try and do something here? I don't know whether... Well, he's certainly got a line, and he's trying to do something here, I think. Yeah, he tried his best. So that's one go at it and running out of balls. But where can he hide? Where can he stop Semipro? Quick drink. Well, I had 43 people on the stream last night, which equals my record. Well, Cobra's went for the breakout, and now, I mean, again, it was a risk he had to take because he was running out of shots, and he can't see enough of that red to pot it into the side. Yeah, I think he was just hitting in hope that suddenly that ball would keep a line. It was always going to go to the jaw because he was limited to make the potting angle. So the table's there for Semipro to give himself some daylight. And everything looks good from this distance. Well, he's going to be likely to be playing that last yellow up the table and then coming around behind the 8 ball, unless he just drops the yellow in and takes it into the side. But he's got choices, and it all just depends on how he leaves himself on that last yellow up table. I don't think he wants to be playing that yellow now. But this, yeah, this has got to be, it's got to be dropped in unless he's dropping through and playing safe and leaving the 8-ball long back into this bottom right hand corner. No, he's trying to get around. Well, he's nudged into the reds. But I think he'll be fairly comfortable with this. Oh, he's caught the knuckle, but it's gone in. Pocket weight. And it's 4 in a row for Semipro. And a cue ball. Well, straight away from that error, Cobra knows he has to respond. Free shot and has to get the job done. Cannot afford to throw away this chance to get one back. And that, as I said earlier, is the type of things that, you know, will go either way. The scratch, the break. Oh shit. You're right enough. I was looking at the chat and I looked back. This is the problem with me trying to multitask. it was Cobra that scratched the break. Well, this will be even worse for Cobra then. And likewise for Semipro. The trouble is I don't want to miss anything in the chat and then I'm missing things in the table. Well, tell us something new, you all say. Well, there's a mistake there. I think he was trying to do something with the cue ball there. I can't believe he would have missed that hitting it plain ball. And Cobra does have his chance. Is he going to hold himself together? Because now he knows from the mistake he's got to pounce. Well, the last red been down the table here is fine because you know you have no problem in being able to see the 8-ball. It's this one in the side really wants to get into. I don't think he wants to be trying to get into the side rail from the other red that's to the furthest up the table. And yeah, he's playing it safe. And now he's committed that it's going to have to be the bottom one first. So now there's a vital shot coming up right now, and where he's gone now, he's dead in the water. It's been overhit by a foot or more, because I think he was playing that red in the side rail. And now he's got to try and duck. And he's got to play a really good shot here to try and sneak in behind that red in the side rail to stop Semi seeing any of these, particularly the one that's over the side pocket on the right side. Where can he hide? The obvious shot is skimming the red that he's looking at and trying to drop onto the red in the rail. But that's, again, just, well, he's going all out for the cut. What a shot. What a shot that was. And a bit of good fortune as far as keeping the cue ball in the table is concerned. Now this is dead weight, roll down the rail and cue ball coming out into the table. Now how far up the table is this cue ball going so that you can see the 8-ball? Because it's going to end up coming right over here and he might have no shot. And it's hung. And Semipro can see the yellow on the side. Well, we know that mistake and how it came about. Again, too heavy with the touch. And that's something I've kept saying during the streams, that your touch shots in this game are a lot more delicate than you think, because that ball will run off these rails. And Cobra's been caught out there. Well, suddenly, Semipro has got a wee testy one. And similar with this little cut shot. Cue ball running. But he's good. It's landed good. And now suddenly there's a crisis at hand here. Because it's now 5 in a row for Semipro. And already Cobra is now not only hoping, I mean, he has to hope for a number of things. He has to hope Semipro starts making mistakes or starts getting bad rolls. But even if that happens, Cobra's in a position where he must pounce on every opportunity and take them out, and he has to get rid of the unforced errors. And in this situation right now, he has to get himself out to stay in touch. No, I had the text. See, this restream chat does have text to speech, but the problem with that is I had spammers coming in and typing crap, so I got rid of that. Yeah. Plus, you guys hear it all coming through the stream, and I've got a normal set of headphones on. I'm not having a separate feed coming into my ear. Yeah, it was a good idea in principle, that, but I got rid of it. Cobra, well, he's going to commit a calamity here if he can't get out. Again, he's overhit it. He's overhit it. I mean, he can still cut the red. You know, there's no doubt about that. But I think he's, you know, he knows that you have to hit this at a pace that the ball will go in, but the cue ball's then leaking away somewhere. And that's why he's decided he wants to do it the other way, take this one first. And all of a sudden, he's in trouble. And that's how easy it is to get yourself in a bad shape. Just what Cobra's done there. He ran too far up the table, and he's just trying to pinch it, and he could just get enough of it. Well, there'll be a sigh of relief after this, because that almost went down the pan big time. And now it's back to Cobra's break, and his first rack since winning those first two. He'll be relieved at that, but he almost blew it. Oh, now. Well, the yellows look favourite to me, if only because the yellows guarding this bottom pocket here on the left-hand side. And the other problem would be that yellow there and getting down on it, because it obviously doesn't go. So you have to find a way to drop down for this yellow if you're committed to them. And then, you know, if you go for the reds, you can pot the red up table, but you've got this one here to get to. So both set of balls have got a problem ball to get to, whatever one you choose. That one there in the yellows, that one there in the reds. And it's a head scratcher to make your mind up what to commit yourself to. But Cobra's decided it's going to be the yellows, and he's got himself in the best position to deal with that yellow on the side if he wants it. But now he maybe want to think about this first. That, stop it, roll that one in. He might take the one on the side after this and then get rid of that one. But he's still got that one to worry about. And that one on the side doesn't look too inviting. Where it's sitting. And don't forget, right at the start of the rack, we had a problem ball for each set of balls. A problem yellow and a problem red when this pocket was blocked with the yellow. And Cobra still hasn't got to this yellow. And if he's going to try and get to that yellow, he's going to have to let this cue ball run loose. So this is on a knife edge as to how this is going to turn out. But it's going to be one critical shot. Whenever it's going to come, it's going to be sooner or later. Now, if he cuts that one in the side, does he skim past the red and still be on the yellow into the side? Or does he hit the red full in the face and then he's got a dodgy shot in the yellow? I think that's what he's worried about. Well, he's got himself better on the one on the side. But you don't know how this is going to finish up. Is he going to try and sneak past it? He's got to be careful. Because if you sneak past the red, you're hooked. He's got to try and run into this red, I think. If it skims off that way, he could be hooked here. But if he gets it right, he'll have a shot into the side or up table. And he's missed the red, and he's got the pace right, and he's looking good. And don't hit it to the far knuckle. It won't go in. You've got to get it right in the centre of the pocket. Any of that knuckle, and it's not going in. And this is where he's worried about how much he hits this ball, because he wants to run through for the 8 ball into the opposite side. So he's got to get the cue ball through, but it will go through. But you can't take any liberties at all in these pockets, especially the side pockets. Any touch of the knuckle, well, he stunned it. And that's as good as you could expect. Rather than letting it run, he's just stunned it. The shot he's probably more comfortable with than playing these roll-in shots. But it's a 2-rack response from Cobra to get him back in touch. And Semipros break off in rack number 10. A handful of balls have gone in. And these balls are splitting up into groups in terms of the yellows. More of them are at the top of the table, and the reds are all pretty much at the bottom of the table. We've had 2 reds disappear. Well, Semipro, does he try and squeeze the yellow that's next to the red down the rail right now? Or does he fancy just nudging it into the side pocket? Because that's the problem ball to get rid of. And then he has to get into the little gap between the two reds to get on this yellow. So the idea would be that if he gets rid of all of these, he has to get a good line on this yellow. If his plan is to take this one and roll through for the 8-ball into this pocket. Well, either way, that one into the side and then down for that one. He's got all the open table he wants. And again, he should be out. So on Semi-Pro's break, it's a run out. And it's a 2-rack lead again. Well, something's gone into the side. It's a yellow that's gone in. And once again, I mean, he must be licking his lips at this table, if only because he's got, if he commits himself to the yellows, he's got one yellow that he can maybe nudge the 8-ball out. He might be looking at the better choice of the reds for that reason. And I think this red goes no problem as long as you're sitting sort of there. Again, he's weighing up the pros and cons. He might be trying to break the 8-ball out now, which he has done. So Cobra's not immediately in great shape here. He's dodgy on this yellow that he's really close to. He's got an even dodgier cut on the other side of the table. And I don't know whether he can see enough of the... Well, he can. He's dead straight, though. That's the problem. Dead straight in the one-up table. This is vital that he stays in touch. The handy thing would have been having that yellow up the table as the easy ball to get onto the 8. But he's got Hobson's choice as far as that goes. He had no other real choice. And now, can he get enough of that yellow to roll it in? Because if he can't, he's got nothing else he can play. I mean, you can see the one in the middle of the table there, but there's not a lot he can do with it. Yeah, plenty of room. Now, we still have the problem now of how to get to that yellow that's in the top half of the table. Now, he can cut this one. He's backed himself into a corner here because if he cuts this one, he could go up table now and try and get on that yellow. Well, he's committed him. I don't know whether he tried to avoid that red or not. The assumption is he's played for this. The problem is that he's got a slight angle and that yellow doesn't pass this red into the corner. So this cue ball has got to come out. Now, if this rattles at pace, it doesn't go in. And it has gone in. The last breath it dropped in. Now, any other day that would have stayed out. But he took the risk, and now he's got the whole table to manoeuvre this cue ball up and down. Oh, this is going to go funny, is it? No, he's okay. And again, his heart missed a beat there. But he's worked hard to get this rack done. And he's back to within one. Brake goes back to Semipro for rack number 12. And a yellow has gone in. But the yellows have a problem, as does the reds. There could well be some ducking and diving in this rack because of the way these balls are set. Now Semi is looking to drop down here and leave an angle to get into that red there, and those two yellows. I don't know whether that's too much angle or whether he can play it soft enough to hit it. Because if you hit it too hard, you'll probably miss them altogether. And the bottom red doesn't go. Well, it does go. And see, well, the angle was always going to be gentle. I didn't think the bottom one did go, but it did. But he didn't risk hitting it too hard. And that's 2 goes he's had at getting this red out, and he's still not got there and running out of balls. And all of a sudden, now that he's stunned the red and hung it, Cobra has got his chance. But it's not easy. I mean, they're all there. And he'll just take his time. These are the two that are the problem. They're no problem here, but they're a problem when you're here. So he needs to take stock of the situation to try and work his way around this. But that one that's there, I think he tried to get a nudge there. But it is a combo. Look at them, they're dead set. Never even looked at that until now. Well, the 8 ball is wide open. And again, you'd think it'd have to be a disaster of some sort that he can't get these 2 balls and see a path to the 8 ball. I don't think he wants to be trying to dink that into the side from there, but he can get a better shape on it off this second last yellow. Good afternoon to Hazard. So, Cobra has dealt with the mini crisis and got it back all square again, and now it's his break. 6 racks apiece. And a yellow goes in up top. And there's a yellow nailed to the bottom rail here. And there's a yellow and red locked up on the right side rail. So once again, what choice do you make and how quickly can you make the move that breaks it out and deals with the problem if you're going to try and run out? And this is why Cobra's taking his time before he makes his move, which is the right thing to do. You know, you don't want to just start. I mean, you can try and break this out now, and that's dealt with the problem. You know, you've got to be clear in your mind what you're doing before you make the wrong move. The other problem, though, exists over there. Now that yellow and red, that's a bit tight to be trying to cut the red. So that's the next major problem, is finding a way to deal with this. That is the red ball that's going to make or break the rack. And that little dink that he's played has got him pretty nigh perfect on the problem red. And now, if he brushes through off the yellow, how thick is he going to hit this yellow? Because he's having to cut this red slightly and put a bit of top in the cue ball to just get it to run through. Oh, he's decided to try and do something crazy, and that is the stub move, because it's all gone wrong. And having a rush of blood to the head there, he shot himself right in the foot. I think, again, he was worried about the connection, the contact with the yellow ball that was next to the red, but he had a blast there, and he was hoping to get lucky. And that's the one thing that you don't expect these guys to do an awful lot. You expect them to play a film shot with a reason. He obviously had a reason, but it wasn't a great reason, because now he's at the mercy of Semipro. And Semipro has immediately blown his chance. And Cobra, well, his prayers have been answered here, because he's going to get himself right out of jail. Well, I'll say this to Semipro. If you're in the stream, it's not a good idea, because quite clearly your mind is not in the game if you're messing about watching this stream. It's a distraction one way or another, however you look at it. And Cobra is a couple of balls away from taking the lead in this match. Go and read that text message I sent you, Semipro. That one that I sent you. Because this is playing into the hands of Cobra. He'll feast on these all day. So my prediction of 13-11 either way still on. But it's Cobra at the halfway point in this match, and he takes the lead for the first time. Well, Semipro breaking off in rack number 14. A yellow ball has gone. And he's chosen the yellows. Once again, there is one problem one that he's trying to get to there. He's missed it. And he'll have maybe another go. But you can't be too firm with this because this yellow will stay up if it catches his jaws. Well, that's certainly going to open the pocket for it. That's one way of getting it done. But he's run into his yellow again. And now he's got no shot. So, one good shot, one bad shot, and now he's trying to duck for cover. Because this doesn't go anywhere unless you're playing some sort of elaborate bank shot. And this is the differences, no matter how small they are, that will win you or lose you a rack or blow your chance of winning a rack. Now he knows that he's going to be in bother whatever he does. I mean, Cobra, he's went all out to try and get some sort of bank, and even then he ended up hooked in the yellow. So Cobra's now got this rack by the scruff of the neck in terms of what he wants to do. The only problem for Cobra is that he always has to be wary that there's a yellow at either end of the table. So if he's going to duck and dive, I mean, it could be aggressive here and try and run down into those reds and try and improve them, which he has done, but he's not really got a pot on, and he might well have to leave them alone. Yeah, I think I'd be too scared to try and do anything there as it's sitting. I mean, he could play the combo, but and if he does play the combo, the worst thing that will happen if he misses it, he's going to leave an awkward cut for Semipro, but he's got the combo. No, the thing is, Zangetsu plays at a pace that's slower than Cobra. And it works for him. I mean, it's whatever works for you. And especially if the other player is coming into the chat and saying that the player's playing slow. You know, all Cobra wants to hear is that, and then he won't change at all. He'll just keep doing the same thing. Again, the right pace to let that ball take all of the pocket. Well, this is against Semi-Pro's break as well. And it's going to be a 2-rack lead. With a chance to stretch it to 3 in a second or two. Well, that's exactly it. LS3. The shot clock is a minute shot clock with, I think, is a 15 or a 30 extension, and that's what the shot clock's there for. You know, there's players that have been in this tournament don't know what a shot clock's for and start blasting. Stubb's one of them. And Stubb knows where he's ended up, banging at balls, not taking his time. But anyway, Cobra's broke off in rack number, what are we in? Rack number 15. And a red has gone, and there's a red as a problem. And a yellow is a problem as well. So Problem is up table there, just to the left of his cue. Well, there is still a glimmer for Semipro for this rack, albeit a slight one, because Cobra's got control of the bottom left-hand corner pocket, but Semipro's got control of the top left-hand corner as far as that other red's concerned. It's sort of southwest of the 8 ball. He's played that with a lot of drag and draw there to try and get a nudge on something, and it hasn't worked out, and that was the one ball that gave him that opportunity. It was nowhere near great shape to get near it, and now Cobra's chances are diminishing in running this rack. Let's face it, that yellow only goes into the side pocket on the right hand side, but you'd have to be up the top end of it to get there. I mean, what ball's going to get you here? So again, he's sort of backed into a corner. Now he could try ducking behind his own yellow ball, which might be the wisest move here. But you have to get it pretty tight. Well, I thought he was going to leave that yellow on the table and just try and duck down below these two reds. You know, try and get in here, but maybe it was a bit fiddly to risk that. But even so, he's potted another ball, and he's got nowhere really to hide. Let's have a look. Well, he sent his other yellow up adjacent to the red to create more clutter, and again biding his time that he's going to get another go at it somewhere along the line. Well, that almost worked, but it's worked in that it's now blocked that pocket as well. And Cobra may well have to grab the bull by the horns, as they say, cut this yellow and let the cue ball run. He's just going to have to take an all-out risk that he gets lucky. That's the best I think he can hope for here, because I don't think he's got many other choices. And you never know, you might get lucky. Well, I think his idea was maybe to try and get in line with that yellow, or one of them, and try and push it towards the red that's over the pocket and get it to follow in. And that was always going to be the issue. He'd ran out of choices, and Semipro will be relieved because this is on Cobra's break. And Cobra was just getting himself deeper and deeper into trouble because he was running out of balls to make any good of the table he had. It was not pretty. Well, even if he would have rather that other ball had gone in, because now he's going to have to play a touchy shot with this red that's deep in the pocket and trying to get the cue ball out for the 8 ball. And this is a little touch shot. And he's fine. So this time, it's one that Cobra, in the end, was doomed to lose. And Semipro back to within 1. And I think that's dry. It most certainly is. Now, what does Cobra choose here? Well, that yellow will go into the top once that other one's out the way. But he could play the combo on the yellow into the red if he prefers the reds. But this is an issue here which he could get on and play into the side. It's tight. So Cobra's to make his decision. I don't like either of them for that reason. But the yellow is now the shot he's chose. Now that one just squeezes in off the jaw, I think. Oh, I plenty of room. A lot more room than it looked at first glance. And again, don't forget, this is the minute way that these games can turn for you, good or bad. Semipro has got himself back to within 1. And the worst thing that can happen is a dry break. And even worse than that is Cobra coming to the table and running out. And, well, he's got every opportunity of doing it. He's just got to get the cue ball off the rail again. So we can see this one that's out from the corner and then drop onto the rail. And wide open space to see the 8 ball. These are the ones that hurt more in this type of format when it's alternate break. And especially when you're still trailing, to come up with a dry break and then have to sit and watch somebody like Cobra do the business. So it's back to 2, 9-7 to Cobra in this race to 13. To see who's going to get through and have to deal with Zangetsu. And Cobra successfully pots a ball. And I think he may well go for the reds here because he's got a red into the side. Every other red is in the open and the 8 ball's in the open. I think it's odds on. He's on the reds. I don't think there's any other choice to be made here. I mean, these are all sitting pretty. And I'm giving him this rack. I am giving him it right now. It's going to be an almighty fail if he can't get this done. So this one that he's right next to is the one that he wants to be getting rid of. I mean, he's obviously got the other one on the other side. He could leave it to get on the 8 ball. He's got every choice there to get on the 8 ball. It's just a matter of what he's happy with. Any of those balls will do to get the cue ball into the table or on the spot to play the 8 ball. So again, you know, it's a big fail if he doesn't do it. Well, he's checking this big time to avoid the collision with the yellow, which he's managed to do. And now he wants to get out into the table slightly, which he can do. Like that. So all he's doing is letting this red ball roll in, and he'll be fine. He's not going to roll through too far that he's going to block himself in the 8. He might want to do a little stopper, but does he want to risk it? No, that's the thing. You can't risk them at that distance. You know, that could rattle the jaws and stay up. So this is painful for Semipro to watch. And it's now a 3-rack lead for Cobra. Semipro breaking again. This time he gets a yellow, but this time he's also got a red. He's got to get this done. And if the worst comes to the worst, his last ball might be that yellow that's over this bottom right-hand corner. He might want to keep that there if he can help it. And that way he might have a chance of getting into this 8 ball, because the 8 ball doesn't go anywhere. And that'll be a big risk. But he still might have an opportunity to try and get into the 8 ball. He might do it here if he just cuts this. And he has done. But where's the cue ball? Well, he's got again a dodgy cut. And that could have been really ugly there. But he's got this bailout. But it's now gone ugly. And Cobra is licking his lips. And Semi's had a blast, which is really all he could do. And he almost flipped the yellow into the side. But he's left one shot for Cobra. Well, he's got 2. He's got this one dead straight. And the other one's there that allows him to get to these 2. So that's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to play this one so that he can pot that one and go on to these 2 here. But he's trying to get up table to deal with the one along the rail. He's going to have to maybe cut this one into the side to do that. I don't think he fancies cutting that at that angle up the table, because the cue ball's coming back down the table. And he's missed the red into the side because you hit those knuckles and it stays out, and Semipro's prayers have again been answered. He's been given a lifeline. Don't look at the light, Spud Boy. Don't look at the light. That not what they said in Poltergeist. Come away from the light. I'm just imagining Spud Boy sitting there and he's got eyes on him like Car the Snake in the Jungle Book. I'm talking about the Disney version of the Jungle Book where the eyes are all spinning looking at this logo. Oh, this is tough to get on this 8 ball. The angle's not good, and he might end up on the short side here and hopes to get lucky. And he's had to stun it. And that lifeline got extinguished immediately. He had to stun it in to get the cue ball moving to the short side of the 8. And not only missing the ball, but he's scratched. But Cobra has his free shot. And this isn't easy to get down onto this 8 ball. He's got to pick these right so he can play that simple red that's on the left side. He doesn't want to leave himself any sort of funny angle in this red ball. And when I say funny angle, that's perfect. Because this is just a little stopper. And he again, although it's a little stopper, he's going to have to play the little dink just so he comes off the red and avoids the other one and takes it into the same pocket. He doesn't want to be running into it, just a little nudge backwards like that. Well, that's maybe broke the back of the match there, what's happened in this rack, because it's now a huge 4-rack lead. And Cobra is only going to be 2 away from round 4. And it's been those little bits and pieces that have affected the scoreline. Just getting that little bad roll, bad things happening, and they're happening at the wrong time for Semipro. And Cobra's break has given him a shot, but this table's a mess. Cobra is now surely.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
I think we need to get things into a wee bit more perspective here, guys, because, regardless of who wins or loses this match, it's looking right now that Cobra's going to win it. But, that these guys are more than good enough to fly through the one-loss side. The trouble with that is the usual thing. There are dangerous players on the one-loss side. And there's more coming across after every match. Well, Semipro, again, he's had the first shot he's had, he's got himself in trouble again. And now he's in real trouble because he's got no shot. Although he's got that guard ball blocking this corner pocket here on the left. And he's tried a little billiard and he needs to get lucky. And that other yellow coming to the rail is not lucky enough because it's blocked the path for the yellow that he's landed on. And once again, it is just going entirely the wrong way for Semipro. Does he think he can drop that in? No, I didn't think that. He tried the combo. So once again, Cobra will be taking his time, studying the lay of the table, and then making his move, which is doing all the right things. And straight away, he's committed a howler. maybe he could have used a wee bit more of his shot clock to think about that more, because he wouldn't have thought of leaving the cue ball there. And suddenly, Semipro is the odds-on favourite for this rack. If he can get out of this snooker. He's had a blast. Oh, he nearly fluked it. Well, what would Clint say to him, Semipro right now? What's Clint's advice?
Now remember, when things look bad and it looks like you're not going to make it, then you got to get mean. I mean plumb mad dog mean.
I don't think that'll help either. Well, this has got to find the gap to play the red ball, and the safest place is over on the right side, and just cut it in and come over to the left side. It looks fairly straightforward enough. Well, he's playing it from the middle. He's got himself a wee bit straight, but there's enough angle just to stun it in and squat over to the left. Well, Cobra is now on the hill, and my prediction's gone out the window. And Semipro's break has given him a handful of balls, including the 8 ball. So here we go again. Take 2. And wouldn't you know it, he's broke and he's come up dry. Well, that sums up the day for Semipro. He breaks off, gets a handful of balls. The 8 ball's one of them, so he has to have another go. And then when he breaks, nada, zilch, 0. And let's put it this way, these balls could be worse. There's still a problem on the right side, but if Cobra can drop the yellow into the side, at some point he's going to have a shot in this yellow that will take care of the red and get rid of it and open these 2 balls, or open the other yellow up. And he's about to do that now, I would think, because I don't think he's got much other. I mean, he could pot that one that's there, that one, but this is the problem that needs dealing with. And that's been dealt with. And now it's full focus to take out the match. Well, I can certainly sum one thing up about this match. Semipro's not had a lot of good rolls. There's been self-inflicted damage, of course, there always is, but he could have done with a wee bit more running, and the worst thing that happened there was that break. A good break, 8 ball going in, then having to re-break and get nothing, and now sit back and watch this. Now let's have a quick look at the 8 ball. The 8 ball is fine. It does go between those 2 reds if he needs to, because these 2 yellows are obviously down table. I don't know whether he'd want to pot a yellow and try and get up table to take it in the side. He'll cut his losses and keep it simple. And as long as he's straight, he can just stop it stone dead and roll that 8 ball past the red. Well, the battle between 2 of the favourites for the tournament has been won by Cobra by 13 racks to 7. And, well, he did the business pretty much most of the time when he had the chances. And Semipro, well, I don't think things can turn out much worse than the way things ran for him in that match. He didn't get many breaks, and the worst thing happened there in that last rack, where it just went pear-shaped on the break. Let's have a quick look at the stats and see how things have caught up here after that match. It might be interesting to watch or to look at. Let's look at the racks run. Semipro is still in front. In fact, he's got a 2-rack gap in front. He's had 33 8-ball shots and 33 have gone in. Snake Eyes on 11 as far as runouts go, who Snake Eyes now on the 1-loss side. Cobra on 11 with 30 shots at the 8-ball, 26 have gone in. Snake Eyes has had 45, but only 38's got in. Albinario has had 10 racks ran, 31 shots at the 8-ball, and 29 have got in. So the strike rate is pretty good. And then Tommy has had 10 racks ran, 40 goes at the 8-ball, and 34 have gone in. So that drops down a bit. Larry with 8 racks ran, 47 goes at the 8-ball, and 39 have gone in. And LS3 on 6 with 31 attempts in the 8-ball and 16 gone in. So LS3's problem is right there. Loads of goes at the 8-ball, but not getting enough of them in to be a strong contender. You've got to be having a higher rate than that. Now, Zangetsu has only had 3 racks ran, but the big difference is he had 40 goes at the 8-ball and 38 of them have went in. So that's about finding your way out in a rack with all these stats here. Now, what else do we want to look at? Snake Eyes is still at the top. Oh, well, that's only because of break numbers. Let's have a look at the average balls. Ignore the NAN numbers. It's still Tommy at the top with 29 breaks, at 1.8 balls in the break. Quagmire 17 and a 1.7, and then it tapers away. That's not really making a great deal of difference. But certainly the strike rate with 8-ball shot and successes, it tapers away. There's the top few players that have got a good rate on there. So, and then just to confirm, that win there for Cobra. Where the hell am I going? Wrong button. That win for Cobra now means that we have the 4th round ties all set up. It's Cobra to face Zangetsu on the bottom half of the draw. The deadline dates are May the 10th. And on the top half, it's Albinario and Larry. And Larry will be getting himself fired up in preparation to take on Albinario. So we've got 2 great matches to come. I'm back at work next week, so hopefully I'll be able to get them at some sort of decent time. Meanwhile, we've got another match today at the moment I haven't checked the schedule, but this is the one that's on later on tonight, and that's at 7 p.m. and the 1-loss side. Race to 11 is DJ Simon against Popman. So that is what is on the schedule for later on. I noticed that there's also the match between Cheeky Chico and Christian has been set. That's set for an hour later, and Cheeky Chico will be the favourite for that one, I would imagine. So we'll be watching the DJ Simon match, and then as and when it finishes, we'll drop in and see how the Cheeky Chico Christian match is going. And I think that's about it. Let's just go back and look at the schedule. I think that's it. Yeah, we'll just get those 2 matches remaining today. So the one at 7 p.m. and the one at 8 PM, and I will be fed and watered and back for that. So, well done to Cobra, and unlucky to Semipro, but it is not all over. You can batter your way through that one loss side, because you're going to be bumping into all the serious contenders one way or another, whether it be now or later. You've got to go through them all if you're going to win this thing. But in fact, I never checked to see who he's set up. Where did Semipro go in this bracket? Well, Semipro's sitting there. Now, with the greatest of respect to Charlie Bravo and Tornado Tam, whoever wins that match, Semipro's got a fairly comfortable tie for his next match, so I don't think he needs to sweat too much there. He's going to be odds-on favourite to win that match. But then things will take shape as it goes further along. So that's it. I'm going to head for dinner, catch up a bit of the snooker, and until later on this evening, I'll thank you all for your company. I'm glad that you're happy with the stream quality, that it has been remedied. And I hope you can join us later on. Remember, if you can always watch them all again on my YouTube channel. And if you're only a subscriber to Twitch, please go and subscribe to me on YouTube. Just type in 9ball.com, you'll find me, no problem. And if you can't see it, you can watch it later tonight or tomorrow, whenever. So I'll bid you good afternoon, and I will see you later, folks. So until then,
Good night, ladies.
You're way off. I say you're way off this time, son.